Hello everyone, and welcome to the Commander's Forge. My name is Andy Bentley, and the Forge is an area for me to talk about Magic, Commander, and anything else that I deem necessary. Now, when I was a guest on Kuroitsuki's stream, which, for people behind the veil, was yesterday, it was a very long day for me. I had gotten up at 3 to get ready for work. When I got home from work, I had some cards I had to finish going through so I could get them off of my desk. And then we started the stream around 10. And we played... we ended up playing 3 games and wrapped up right around 1-ish. And yes, I was exhausted. But there's just kind of this energy that you kind of latch onto when you're just chilling with like cool Magic players. And it kind of led to a discussion after the final game ended. And I didn't crawl into bed till almost 2, and somebody in the chat put it best. When you're just kind of like shooting the conversation back and forth after a game, it's kind of like an EDH therapy, where you can just kind of chill and talk about the game, and it got me thinking about how much emphasis is put on the pre-game chat, that I think people are overlooking the post-game chat, because I've definitely left some games where I'm a little salty about what happened because I feel like I was lied to about what kind of game we were going to be playing. And I think if you just take like the 5 or 10 minutes after the game to just sit down and talk and be like, yeah, that was a really cool game, or, I think maybe your deck was just a little more powerful than what the rest of us brought. And don't say that in a bad way. Say it as maybe next time you want to play that, we just pull out something that's a little more powerful to try and match what you're trying to do. But all in all, I had a lot of fun. I am very exhausted, and I have my stream tonight. It's going to be a long day. That's just kind of what's running through my head this morning, or spoilers, that's after morning. But yeah, I'll be right back, and we're gonna talk about a deck that I was just doing a little upgrade on that needs a little more help, but I think is in a better place. But I will be right back. I just want to take a minute to tell you about my Patreon. I know times are hard for everybody, and I know it isn't easy to shuffle around bills and stuff. Believe me, I know that. But if you would like to help support the podcast and me, you can find the links to my Patreon in my link tree, which is always put into the description of either the video or the audio, wherever you're listening to it. It would really mean the world to me. Honestly, I'm just struggling to make ends meet most weeks. But that's it. That's all. If you want to help, the links will be where you can find them. And we're back. Now, when Ixalan was the standard set around, it introduced Merfolk as a blue-green tribe. And when Rivals came out and gave us Kumena, Tyrant of Araska, I thought I had something there. And I played blue-green Merfolk in Standard, in it wasn't Pioneer at the time, it was Frontier, the thing they tried out in Japan. And then I built it into a commander deck. And it kind of wasn't changed very much since then. And there are some things that I want to pick up for it that are a little harder to find because they're more from the Lorwyn age of Magic. But regardless, so Kumena Tyrant of Vareska is our commander. He is 1, a green and a blue for a 2/4 Merfolk Shaman. You can tap another untapped Merfolk you control to give him unblockable. You can tap 3 untapped Merfolk you control to draw a card. And you can tap 5 untapped Merfolk you control to put a +1/+1 counter on each Merfolk you control. So he himself kind of wants to take you in 3 directions. Combat damage, card draw, go wide. So we kind of lean into each section of what Kumena wants to do, depending on like what we draw. If we want to be like hyper aggressive, we go and play stuff like Mistcloaked Herald, which is a blue mana for a 1/1 Merfolk Warrior that can't be blocked. Triton Shorestalker is a blue mana for a 1/1 Merfolk Rogue that can't be blocked. True Name Nemesis is 1 blue for a 3/1 Merfolk Rogue. When it enters you name a player, it has protection from the chosen player. So while it's not unblockable, it will be unblockable to whoever you choose with it. And then River Sneak is 1 in a blue for a 1/1 Merfolk Warrior that can't be blocked. And whenever another Merfolk enters the battlefield under your control, it gets +1/+1 till end of turn. Now, with that, we still want to go wide, and the best card we have to do that is Deeproot Waters, which is 2 in a blue for an enchantment. Whenever you cast a Merfolk spell, you can create a 1/1 blue Merfolk creature token with hexproof. And that does also interact with things that are Merfolk, that are non-creature Merfolk spells, like Marrow Commerce, which is arguably the best card in Kumena. It's 1 in a blue for a tribal enchantment Merfolk. At the end of your turn, you untap all Merfolk you control. And yes, there's other ways to do it on like every turn, but the fact that that one just does that is what is really nice. Now, the other thing that really drew me into Merfolk is that they just have so many lords. Things like Lord of Atlantis, which is 2 blue mana for a 2/2 Merfolk. I believe it's errata to a Merfolk Lord or just a Merfolk at this point. But all Merfolk get +1/+1 and gain Island Walk. Merfolk Sovereign is 1 blue for a 2/2 Merfolk. Other Merfolk creatures you control get +1/+1, and you can tap him to make other Merfolk creatures unblockable. Marrow Reejery is 2 in a blue for a 2/2 Merfolk Soldier. Other Merfolk creatures get +1/+1. Whenever you cast a Merfolk spell, you may tap or untap target permanent. Merfolk Mistbinder is a green and a blue for a 2/2 Merfolk Shaman. Other Merfolk you control get +1/+1. Master of the Pearl Trident is blue for a 2/2 Merfolk. And other Merfolk creatures you control get +1/+1 and have Island Walk. Now, the thing about them having lords is that their lords aren't necessarily all just about pumping your other ones. So, like, Seafloor Oracle is 2 blue for a 2/3 Merfolk Wizard that says whenever a Merfolk you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. I still consider that a lord. Or Deeproot Elite, 1 and a green for a 1/1 Merfolk Warrior. Whenever another Merfolk enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on target Merfolk you control. I still kind of consider that a lord, even though it's not actively hitting everything. Let's see, we have Sylvan of Sky and Sea, or Sea and Sky. 1 blue for a 3/4 Merfolk god. Has indestructible as long as you control 2 other Merfolk. When they attack, draw a card. And other Merfolk you control have Ward 1. Kopala, Warden of Waves. 1 blue for a 2/2 Merfolk wizard. Spells your opponents cast that target a Merfolk you control cost 2 more. Abilities your opponents activate that target a Merfolk you control cost 2 more. Yeah, and then we just kind of get into like the utility creatures that just kind of help with the game plan. Tideshaper is a blue for a 1/1 Merfolk warrior or Merfolk wizard with kicker 1. When it enters the battlefield, if it was kicked, target land becomes an island for as long as Tideshaper remains on the battlefield. Tideshaper gets +1/+1 as long as an opponent controls an island. So this can shut down other utility lands because they just become an island. And then if you couple this with some of the lords, they give Island Walk. It's a good way to get around a lot of defenses. Stony Brook Banneret is 1 and a blue for a 1/1 Merfolk wizard with Island Walk. Merfolk spells and wizard spells you play cost 1 less to play. There is a sub-theme of Merfolk wizards in here. The first of which that I'm going to specifically name for that is Tempest Caller. 2 blue for a 2/3 Merfolk wizard. When Tempest Caller enters the battlefield, tap all creatures target opponent controls. It's a good way to just say, I'm going to take out one person. And then Herald of Secret Streams is the last Merfolk I want to talk about here. 3 and a blue for a 2/3 Merfolk warrior. Creatures you control with +1/+1 counters on them can't be blocked. It's very hard to not have +1/+1 counters on whatever creatures you end up having. And then I just want to round this out by talking about Collected Company, which is 3 and a green for an instant that lets you look at the top 6 cards of your library, put up to 2 creature cards with converted mana cost 3 or less from among them onto the battlefield, put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. Very few of the Merfolk in the deck cost more than 3. And yeah, but the arguably the fun spell to cast is Kindred Summons. 5 green for an instant. Choose a creature type. Reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal X creature cards of the chosen type, where X is the number of creatures you control of that type. Put those cards onto the battlefield, then shuffle the rest of the revealed cards into your library. And yeah. So when I was looking through this deck list, like, it does kind of feel like it gets pulled in like a couple of different directions, but those directions work. Maybe not necessarily together, but yeah. Now, as far as the cards that I'm looking for that I haven't been able to find yet, there's 2. The first one being Deep Channel Mentor, and the second one being a Lull Mage Mentor. They're just old cards, and I haven't been able to find them yet. But yeah, that's kind of Merfolk in a nutshell, and I don't really have a whole lot else to talk about it. So yeah, that'll be it, and I'll see you next time. Thank you for listening. All of my links can be found in my link tree in the description below. I would like to thank Ian Foss and Cody Mulpey of the band The Crypt for allowing me to use music for my opening and ending, along with Nate and Erica Jacobs for making my original logo. And I would also like to thank Christina McNichol for creating my new logo. And I'll see you next time.